Hold on. There we go. There we go. There we go. Give it a quick second before we get started. Hot out here today, man. It was a beautiful day outside. You know what I mean? My day off. I'm gonna come out here and get some working. We get started. I gotta give all praises and honors to my power, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakadash. Shalom to them Akim Agwa from the bind that may tune into this video. That is peace to the brothers, sisters, or children that may tune into this video. My name is Amos, Ban Yasha Allah, Ban Aparium, and I'm here. I'm a Hebrew Israelite. And typically I'm with my brothers Asakala and the brother Sakar. We out here pushing the word. Today I'm going solo, but at the end of the day, that we keep the main thing, which is keep pushing the word, putting all praises on Yahweh, Yahweh Shai, and making sure that we let people know to repent or perish, right? So today I want to go on a little quick lesson talking about rebirth, right? Because a lot of people, I'll talk to people concerning who the true Lord is, right? Yahweh and his son's name, Yahweh Shai. A lot of people say, well, I have my own relationship with God, which that's just not how that works, right? It's not how that works. You don't get to come up here and you orchestrate how the relationship is with the Lord. It doesn't. It's either that you obey or you go. Right. That's how it is. You don't really have the power to say so. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna hop right into the precepts. Right. Right into the precepts. So we're gonna start at John. Let's get there. Let's get there. Let's get there. Bear with me. It's my first time going out here by myself, so I might be a little slower. Well, regardless matter, we're gonna try to make sure this is edifying for you guys. And we are in the book of John. We're going to start the book of John, chapter 4, verse 24, and it reads, this is red letter speaking as well. The power is a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. So understanding that you have to worship him in spirit and truth means you have to be in the correct spirit as righteousness, right? Rehearsing the righteous acts, right? Doing what the Lord says to do, right? You can't make your own way, right? This book is not open to your own interpretation. There's no, the other precept says there's not license to sin, right? Is you do it Yahweh's way, Yahweh's way, or you don't do it no way, right? So understanding that there's an order of operations here, a certain way that you have to go about following, actually being a person of the power of Yahweh Yahweh Shai, right? Let's get into it. Let's go to John 14 and 15. The book of John, chapter 14, verse 15, and it reads, red letter speaking still. Let's fast real quick. If ye love me, keep my commandments, right? It says, keep my commandments. It doesn't say, do what you want to do. If you truly love the Lord, when people say, I got my own relationship with the Lord, you don't really love the Lord. You don't have a relationship with the Lord, because if you really love the Lord and you had a relationship with the Lord, you would keep his commandments, right? You will do the best of your ability to keep your commandments, right? But we're also going to make sure you understand not to be over righteous. It's impossible to keep all of them. We are in the flesh. We are going to fall. We're going to mess up. We're going to slip, right? But you have to understand to get back up and keep rehearsing the righteous acts, right? Keep going. Attempt to do it. At least put effort forth, right? Don't just be out here talking about, again, I got my own relationship with the Lord, because it's not how that works, right? That's not how that works. So good. Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 13. Let's get there, Slacky. Bear with me, bear with me. I got my notes written down on my paper. Try to make sure I hit all the points I want to hit. Try to slow it down a little bit as well. That's the 12 and 13. This book Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 14, and verse Slakia. Verse 14, 13, Slakia. And it reads, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter, right? So let's hear the conclusion of everything, right? We already touched bases on If you're gonna follow the Lord, you gotta do it in truth and spirit, right? You can't do it your own way. You can't have your own relation. You can't make up your own relation with the Lord. Then we also touched on the fact that if you love the Lord, you keep His commandments, right? 'Cause that's the right way to do it, right? So let's hear the whole conclusion of it all. Fear the power, right? Understanding that when you have fear of the Lord, that's the beginning of wisdom. Because when you fear the Lord, it's going to force you to walk the right way. Because you understand that it's a fearful thing to fall in the hands of living power. You understand that the Lord is known for His judgments that He executed, right? So it's going to bring fear on you to move with righteousness and wisdom, right? So fear the power and keep His commandments. You see how this is the second time you have the precepts that they're bringing up. Keep the commandments, right? Now, when you go to these whorehouses on Sunday, they'll say, "Oh, it's cool. The Lord has done away with the commandments," which is completely false. And the reason why our people is the way they are because they love that filthy lucre that filthy doctrine, right? That's not the case. Keep His commandments, right? For this is the whole duty of man. I'm gonna let this pass real quick. As we read it. Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter, fear the power, and keep His commandments, for this is the whole duty of man, right? So now that we already touched on the other points, understand this is the whole duty of man. This is the reason why we're here. So when people be out here like, man, what's the purpose of life? The purpose of life is right here in the book, which I don't like to consider. I don't like to change our way. That's why we're about to get the out of our desire to get to the point of talking about being reborn and rebirth, right? Because that's the whole purpose. Understanding what's the right way to go about it, and then from there you move accordingly, right? All right. Let's go to John 3. John 3. The book of John, chapter 3. We're gonna start at 3, and it reads, Yahushua answered and said unto him, this is now going to red letter. Verily, verily, I say unto you, unto thee, except a man be born again, he cannot see the kingdom of the power, right? So when people see that, you got to understand, it's not you actually going, you being born again and your mom pushing you out again. No, that's not the case. It's the fact that you're killing the old man, right? You from all the wicked ways that you was doing before, you come back and you change. Because before, before I came to truth, I was smoking weed. I was always with shorties and not focusing on what I was supposed to focus on. And then when it came to the point when I really want to do this, I understand how to put down the blunt, stop smoking. I had to do what was necessary for me to be right in the eyes of the power, right? You gotta make them changes, right? It's sacrifices. And not really even sacrifices, because these things really you dropping these things will make you a better person and better and a righteous man or woman in the eyes of Yahweh Yahweh. And that's really the biggest gift. These dumbass bitches over here looking at me crazy. But they over here not understanding. This is really life. But it's cool though. And if you don't change, there's no way that you can get into the kingdom of the power. That's what that says. Verily, verily, I say unto thee, except a man be born again, he cannot see the kingdom of the power. So all these people talk about they want to make it to heaven, but they don't want to change and do it the correct way and follow the Lord in truth and spirit. You're shit out of luck, right? Nicodemus saith unto him, how can a man be born again when he is old? Can he enter the second time into his mother's womb and be born? John 3 and 5. Yahushua answered, verily, verily, I say unto you, and unto thee, Slakia, except the man be born of water and of spirit, he cannot enter into the kingdom of the power. So you understand this word is likened unto water, right? And we're going to deviate and go touch on that real quick before we go on what we're talking about. So he's not saying that, you actually gonna be born again. Like you gotta be you enter the mother's room, because that's impossible. But when it's talking about being born again, it means you change. You kill that old man. You put away those wicked habits and those wicked things that you was doing before. You put that to rest, right? We go to John 15 and 3, right? Book of John, chapter 15, verse 3. Now ye are clean through the word which I have spoken unto you, right? When it's talking about you being born of the water, right? This word is water, the true baptism, right? When you hear this word, you're being baptized, you're clean, you're being cleansed, right? Let's go to the book of Psalms 119. It's when not trying to allow me to get there, but we're gonna get there. Book of Psalms, chapter 119. And we'll go to what verse is that? The book of Psalm chapter 119. It's not good. Yo, this one is crazy. 119 verse 9, and it reads, "Wherewithal shall a young man cleanse his way? By taking heed thereto according to thy word." So how we touched on earlier, saying the fact that this word, you're clean by hearing this word. This double downs and proves the fact that this is what you do. You hear the word and you clean yourself, and from there you continue to work and be to work and rehearse the righteous acts, right? So let's go back and reread John 3 and 5. This book of John, chapter 3, verse 5. How shall I answer? Verily, verily, I say unto thee, except the man be born of water and of spirit, he cannot enter to the kingdom of the power. So if you don't change your ways, you don't hearken to this word, you don't rehearse the righteous acts and try to keep the commandments to the best of your abilities, you cannot get to the kingdom of the power. You cannot make it to heaven. You're gonna have to be here for the world's greatest barbecue. That's what I was saying to you, right? The book of John, chapter 3, verse 6, red letter speaking as well. That which is born of the flesh is flesh, but that is born of the spirit is spirit. You know, if you are a carnal man, you're a carnal man. You're not going to understand the spirit, the spiritual thing, the side of things, right? If you're a carnal man, you're in the flesh. A lot of these people would be in the flesh. As I was talking about that one woman, she just drove past and she gave me the stink look. She's of the flesh. She's looking at me like I'm crazy. But we out here putting out we pushing the word and we letting people know who we really are and what we're supposed to do to get back to what we were. We was kings and princesses. But a lot of our people are so dumbfounded. Let me just pass it here. A lot of our people are dumbfounded and they refuse to hear the words or even consider, right? But it also says this, and that which is born of the spirit is of the spirit. So if you understand it, you're going to get it because it's in you. You're going to get it. You are the spirit, right? But you get to that point, you have to be reborn. It was faith starts by hearing. You hear the word, and from that point, you're going through the process of being reborn when you actually put the work in and you actually move, put your foot in front of another, and you actively rehearse the righteous acts and you try to keep the commandments to the best of your ability, right? The book of John, chapter 3, verse 7. Marvel not that I said unto thee, ye must be born again. Again, tripling down. You have to be born again. You have to put away that old man. You have to kill that old man. You have to kill those bad habits. You have to kill the sinful ways that you was living and you was used to doing, right? You have to stop. You have to step away. Because there's no way if you think you're gonna be out here murder, gang, and you're gonna come up and you think your house shot is gonna bless you. Now, honestly, if your name was written in the book of life and you was chosen from the foundation of earth, you'll have that chance, right? But it's a chance. That's 11th hour service. 11 hour slot here. But they come in right before the Lord come back and blow the shit to smithereens, eviscerate this place. That's a scary place to be in. So if you understand it, why not put the work in now and try to set yourself away and be reborn and try to make yourself proper and clean for Yahweh while Yahweh Shai. Don't tarry, don't wait. From there, let's go to First Peter chapter 1, verse 23. It's the book of First Peter chapter 1, verse 23. Being born again, not the corruptible seed, but incorruptible, by the word of the power which liveth and abideth forever. So when you are being born again, right? Not being born again is to go back to do what you was doing before that corruptible seed. You're not going back to be a wicked person. You're being born again to be better, right? To be the incorruptible, right? So you can actively, continually fight the good fight of faith, and you separate yourself from this wickedness, right? By the word of the power which liveth and abideth forever. Because this right here is perfect. It's perfect. There's nothing better than this. There's nothing that you can't. This is real riches. This is what it is. This is where it's at. I think the show. I think it was in the '90s show. She's all that. This is all that in a bag of chips, something like that. That's how they. That's what y'all should say. But it's all that in a bag of chips. This is what you really want, man. So understanding that this is perfect and it liveth and abideth forever. This word is never going to be done away with, no matter what people think that people has changed it and people did this and people did that. No, this is what's going to live and abide forever. So this is how you're supposed to live. This is what you're supposed to live by and actively pursue to be better at. You know what I'm saying? Go to the book of Second Corinthians. So like, well, it's fast, but go to the book of Second Corinthians. Second Corinthians 5 and 17. Slock it. The book of Second Corinthians, chapter 5, verse 17, and it reads, therefore, if any man be in Hamashiach, he is a new creature. So you seen that? When you are actually abiding by the laws of the Lord, when you are actually rehearsing the righteous acts, when you are actually putting the conscious effort to be more righteous and be better, you are a new creature. You're not the same person that you was before. Because you can't be. You can't, like the precept says, can two hey, shalom to the brother Angel Padilla. How about Shem Yashar Shalom Malak, Shalom. You can't be the same wicked person and actively be serving the Lord. You have to be reborn, right? You have to be reborn. So let's bring it out again. The book of Second Corinthians and verse Slocky, bear with me real quick. Where we at with it? Verse 17. And it reads, therefore, if any man be in Hamashiach, he is a new creature. You have to renew yourself, man, because if you don't have a chance. You're not going to be in this fold. Old things are passed away. And that's what we were talking about earlier. Those old things is that old man, right? You're doing away with your old self. You're doing away with all that wicked stuff that you was doing. You're doing away with all that past iniquity that you were so used to doing, right? You're doing away with that. You are actively trying to better yourself in the light of Yahweh Shai. That's what makes you a new creature. That's what makes you being reborn, right? Behold, all things are become new. Everything is becoming new. Man, it's funny because when I started my journey, and I gotta say, the Wadi Yahweh Shah for gracing me to allow me to start my journey. A lot of friends back home, but yo, you tripping, you different. You acting different. This is not what I'm used to. It's because you became a new man, right? It's like it says wisdom causes a man's face to shine, right? You tend to look different. You'll tend to start hanging around different people because certain people want to hang around you no more. But it's all a blessing. But you have to put that work in, and you have to consciously put one foot in front of the other and try to better yourself, be reborn in all sense, right? We'll go to the book of Romans, chapter 6. Let's get there real quick. The book of Romans, chapter 6, verse 6. And it reads, knowing this, that our old man is crucified with him, that the body of the sin might be destroyed, that henceforth we should not serve sin. Right? So again, when you kill that body of sin is being murdered. It's done away with. It's gone. That's it. Our old man is crucified with him. You're putting that old man to death. If you can't move forward in the light of Yahweh Yahushua being wicked in that old body and thinking that when people like to say, I got my own relationship with the Lord, thinking that could work. No, we already touched on it earlier on this live. You have to follow the Lord in truth and spirit. This is how you do it. This is what you got to do. Because if you don't, there is no relationship. The Lord hates you. So the Lord loves those that dwell with wisdom. So if you don't want to dwell with wisdom, if you don't want to do the work, you don't want to be reborn, the Lord don't love you. So you thinking that you got a relationship with the Lord and your own light, your own likeness, you're tripping, you're bugged out. The book of Romans, chapter 6, verse 6. That the body of sin might be destroyed. Again, going to the fact that you're killing that body, that old man of sin, as you're actively trying to step into the new light and follow the Lord to the best of your ability and follow the commandments to the best of your ability, right? That henceforth, we should not serve sin. We are not going to serve sin in that new body. We're going to actively try to be better. Now, again, we touched on it earlier. We are not perfect. We're in the flesh. You're going to slip. You're going to fall. Then we got the preacher said our righteousness is as filthy rags. We know that other preachers says a righteous man will fall 7 times. A seven is synonymous with a complete amount of times. You're gonna fall a lot, man. But you have to get up. You have to repent. You're gonna have to pray to the Lord. You have to dust your shoulders off and keep stepping and keep pushing to be a better man. You're gonna fight the good fight of faith. That's what you got to do. Continue to be reborn. Keep fighting that. Keep fighting that. Because we are in a spiritual war. So understand that. Get to the book of Judges. Let's get there real quick, Slocky. When Judges, where we at with it? Judges 5. Judges The book of Judges, chapter 5, verse 11, and it reads, "They that are delivered from the noise of the archers," right? When I say being delivered from the noise of the archers, it's talking about the elect. And those archers talking about the ICB and missiles that are going to be soon to be fired over here and to see Babylon the Great be eviscerated, be turned into a lake of fire, forever burning. It's going to eventually be a desert. Ain't going to be nothing here. So those that are being delivered from this place, right? In the place of drawing water, shall they rehearse the righteous acts of the one Yahweh, even the righteous acts toward the inhabitants of his village and Yasharallah, Israel. Then shall the people of one Yahweh go down to the gates. You see that? This is where I'm gonna end on. I was trying to get the 30 minutes at least, man, but I was moving too fast to the precepts. But understanding, you have to rehearse the righteous acts. You got to rehearse it. What you're able to do is you do. We understand that we are in captivity, so it's hard to keep every single Sabbath. If you try to tell your job, hey man, I got to take this off, and switch it up, it might be you might lose your job. So you got to understand you got to move with wisdom, right? But when you rehearse the righteous acts, you're actively trying to be better. You get better at something different every single day. If you're not getting better every day, you're getting worse, right? 1% every day. That's something I said when I played football. 1% every day, you get better every single day. You actively rehearse these acts. You actively pray more. You try to read the book more, right? You hop on other brothers' lessons, right? You if the spirit is in you to go teach, you go teach, right? That's what you go do. These is you being reborn. This is you rehearsing that righteous acts. And these are the actions you got to take to have a fighting chance, man. To have a fighting chance. And you see that these people, the people that rehearse righteous acts, are the ones that were being delivered before these bombs hit. That's what you want to be at. I don't desire I'm there. I don't desire that I have a chance. I don't desire that I'm a part of that calling, that name, man. And I don't desire you guys are too. But you got we not just you, we got to do the work, right? We got to be able to do that work. Even the righteous acts toward the inhabitants of the village of Yasher Allah. Not only you actively, rehearsing the righteous acts, as in like we said, the prayer or watching the lessons, meditating on the word. We also rehearsing the righteous acts to our brethren, our brethren, the Akim, the Akwaf, right? Being charitable, right? And being charitable to me, you just giving out, you giving to people. Sometimes it's the answer, this is all it is, you answer on the phone. Having someone so people can have someone to talk to, right? That's what it boiled down to. Then shall the people of Ha'adon Yahweh go down to the gates. That is how we are going to get a chance. That's how you're going to get a chance to be saved from the spot, right? That's following the commandments, the best of your abilities, praising the Lord, repenting, and actively rehearsing righteous acts and try to be better day in and day out. That is all I had for you guys. I was hoping to maybe get 30 minutes, but it's close, but I wasn't able to get there. But Adorat Dazad's lesson was edifying and exhorting to brothers Akim and Banyam. That is, Adorat, Lord will that this lesson was helpful for you to learn something from, for the brothers, sisters, and children. We got to give all praises and honors in my power. Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Bahashem, Rakakadash. Shalom to the Akim Agwaf and the Bayan that tuned this video. That's peace to the brothers, sisters, and children that tuned this video. Hey, Shalom Balak, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shalom, Shalom.